the way, but they left it late in an incident-packed game against Cobh Ramblers. The host took just 2 minutes to break the deadlock at the showground. Steve Feeney arriving late at the back post to convert from close range. Well, Sligo were dominating, but the visitors should have been back on terms soon after. Alan Carey's delivery, John Hayes' flick on. Davin O'Neill should have done a lot better. Well, to make matters worse, Cobh were then reduced to 10 men on 41 minutes when Mark Clifford was sent off for kicking out a Kieran Foley, and it was 1-0 to the break. Well, early in the second half it should have been 2. Feeney played in Paul McTiernan. He was denied by the post. Feeney, following up, somehow managed to put the rebound over the bar. Now in 65 minutes, Cobh drew level. Carey's free kick met by the unmarked Robert Brosnan, who glanced it home. But in a dramatic finish, Rovers were to strike late for the win. 89 minutes on the clock when Carlos Alvarez bundled home from close range. Cue the raucous celebrations from player and supporters alike. 2-1 to Sligo, the final score.
Wednesday night saw Sligo Rovers play in front of their biggest home crowd of the season. Athlone Town were the opposition, hoping to topple the league leaders. Sligo had the first effort on goal in the 9th minute, Sean Flannery connecting with Michael McNamara's long delivery. 7 minutes later, Kieran Foley released Rafael Quintaro down the right. His pace took him past the Athlone defence, but his shot went narrowly over. After 20 minutes, Sligo had their best chance. Quintaro's flight across was met brilliantly by Flannery, but Athlone keeper Danny O'Leary, with the aid of the post, just managed to keep the ball out, and the Athlone defence came to his rescue. The away side began the second half the brighter. John Flanagan's well-struck shot 3 minutes into the second half brought a good save out of Sligo goalkeeper John O'Hara. Sligo kept pressing, however, and again they came close to the opening goal when Sean Flannery's header narrowly missed the target. The same player, though, had more luck 10 minutes before the end. Stephen O'Donnell's cross saw Flannery unmarked at the edge of the 6-yard box, and the centre-forward notched up his 4th goal of the season. Athlone almost salvaged a point near the end when Gavin Doyle's chip beat O'Hara, but not Liam Burns on the line, and Damien Rush skied his finish over the crossbar. So 1-0 to Sligo is how it finished, and they remain the table toppers in the Aircom League First Division.
The home side took the lead coming up to the half-hour mark when Kildare goalkeeper John Connolly spilled the free kick. The loose ball was played back to Steve Feeney, and he converted from close range to put the host Sligo 1-0 ahead. Well, Kildare were to test John O'Hara with a free kick of their own just before the break. A cracking effort from Ger O'Brien, but they couldn't force the all-important equaliser. And indeed, the away side were to finish the game with 10 men when Eddie Keys was sent off for a lunging challenge on Faridan Kudozovic. 1-0 to Sligo was the final score, and they've now opened a 5-point lead over Dublin City.
Last 8 at the expense of St. Pat's. Pats took the lead at the showground shortly after the half-hour. Chris Armstrong beat the offside trap before rounding Rovers keeper John O'Hara and picking his spot. Sligo were level before the break. Kudozovic fed fullback Kupano low, and the Hawaiian managed to weave his way through the Pats defence and shoot past Barry Ryan. Into the final quarter hour of the game, and Sligo had the lead. Quintaro's free kick was saved by Ryan. The Pats keeper attempted to set up a quick counter-attack, but the move was spotted by Conor O'Grady. He released Ian Rossiter, and the centre was met by the in-rushing Paul McTiernan, who tipped the ball past the stranded Ryan. A night to remember for the Sligo fans and for manager Sean Connery.
Absolutely delighted. I think this is, when I came to this football club, I heard about the tradition, about the Bitter Red Roar, and tonight was the first time since I've been here, nearly 10 months, I've seen it. And the players were magnificent, and we've competed against a very, very good Premiership side, and I think we've deserved to win the game from start to finish.
At the showgrounds on Saturday, Sean Flannery giving them the lead on the half-hour, heading home completely unmarked following a corner kick. Sligo's second goal came just before the half-time break. Ashley White completely missed the ball, allowing Flannery to gather possession, and he calmly rounded Robbie Horgan before sliding the ball into an empty and a net and effectively killing off the game. Philip Hughes of Monaghan saw his long-range effort come back off the crossbar, Well, that's the closest they came to scoring. Sligo Rovers 2, Monaghan United 0 was the final score. On Saturday evening at the showgrounds, Sligo had the better of the game early on and they took the lead in 25 minutes. Paul Brown's header looked goal-bound, but Paul McTiernan got the insurance touch. 5 minutes later, Sligo had their second of the evening. McTiernan and Kudozovic were involved in the build-up. The ball eventually found its way back to Sligo's top, and he managed to find a way past top scorer McGuinness to double the lead. 2-0 finished to Sligo, another important win for Sean Connor's side. For Kilkenny, only a second defeat.
And top of the first division as well, Sligo Rovers still lead the way, but Cobh Ramblers remain on their heels, with Dublin City still fighting for the playoff position.
Following Cobh's win on Friday night, the Cork side and Sligo Rovers were level on points at the top of the table, Rovers having 2 games in hand. They got off to a flyer against Galway United when Sean Flannery powered a 30-yard effort in off Alan Goff's right-hand post to give the home side the advantage. Galway United, though, didn't come to make up the numbers, and on the half-hour mark, Derek O'Brien crossed for Eric Levine. However, the former Longford Town man couldn't keep his shot down. United continued to press and Levine set up Colin Fortune for a shot, John O'Hara having to tip that one around the post. And then followed a bizarre decision when the referee adjudged that Paul McTiernan's efforts at winning this ball merited a straight red card. Much to the indignation of the Rovers players and the bewilderment of the home support, he sent the Rovers striker off a minute before the interval. Galway then lost their captain Nigel Keady to a second yellow card for an off-the-ball incident before the game entered a critical phase. First, Rovers captain Michael McNamara robbed Levine before setting up an attack which had the Galway defence at 6s and 7s. When the ball eventually made its way back across the face of goal, Sean Flannery did convert, but the linesman's flag was raised. Flannery ruled marginally offside. Just a minute later, Rovers were made to pay dearly for that decision. This training ground move saw a rocket unleashed by Colin Fortune from the free kick, which gave John O'Hara no chance in the Rovers' goal. Try as they might, neither side could conjure a winner. Philip O'Reilly was afforded too much space down the Galway left, but Eric Levine couldn't divert his effort on target. And with the game's final opportunity, Conor O'Grady created a little space for himself but shot narrowly over. So Rovers drop another 2 points and face Cobh in a critical tie at the showgrounds in a fortnight's time.